What up? It's the Grandpa MC coming at you with another video. Like, subscribe, share, comment if you like. Alright, man, so Los Angeles Lakers lost the game in the final seconds, and the script was reversed on Mr. James. Luka had the ball with seconds to go, trying to find a way to get the winning shot in, and he was getting doubled, and then he passed it off to LeBron. And what did LeBron do? Nothing. So then they ask him about it, and he gives this explanation that Luka was off balance, and then he passed it off to him and he was off balance, this and that and other. You know, it's all good when the narrative is on your side. Meaning that for years, the public has been told that LeBron always makes the right play. Meaning, when he passes the ball off with no more options and he gives it to a guy with a couple of seconds left, that's the right play. We've been known this was wrong. We've been known this is incorrect. Ain't no big deal. But it's kind of funny now in his thought to be twilight years that he was faced with the same dilemma that he put countless teammates in. That's just like Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. But Kobe Bryant, 3 seconds to go, takes 2 seconds off the clock and dishes it off to Jordan Farmar, who was wide open in the corner. Is that the play? Nah. Because you know, for one, you know, everybody knows that basketball is rhythm. If you didn't know, now you know. But this a basketball game has rhythm. Even the players themselves have rhythm. If you give a guy a ball with a few seconds left when he thinking that you gonna take the shot, he got to get through the shock of getting the ball. Then he got to find a way to put the ball up because there's only seconds to go. So this whole narrative has gotten tired. I myself am tired of speaking on this stuff because it's getting redundant. It's getting redundant. I have started taking looks at games from the past, and these games are enjoyable to watch. Like, I was watching the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets, 95. I watched the whole series. Now, I made a video. I took it down because I didn't feel quite right about it. Because a lot of the stuff I said was kind of like, almost like knee-jerk to me. So I took it off. But I will say that David Robinson at the beginning of the series was shaken by the way Hakeem was going at him. Hakeem was killing. If you want to look at some playoff dominance outside of Michael Jordan, Hakeem in 95, 94, That's where you need to look at. And but by the third game, in the second half, he started to gain some footing, and he started to play better. And they gave it a series. Well, they went to 6, but David Robinson drastically improved throughout the series from game 3 on. He was playing with some force. He was playing with some confidence, and he was playing with some tenacity. But they had to pull that out of him, and he had to get embarrassed a couple of times. But he was humble about it. When they were talking to him about the way Hakeem was going about things, his response was, "Well, I can't get caught up in what he's doing. I got to do what I do best." And that's a attitude that has been lost in sports. Now, David Robinson got clowned a lot for being, a supposed nice guy. And some of it was deserved. But at least he went out there and competed. Now, I was watching videos earlier talking about how LeBron, the subject of the day, I guess, was, is LeBron just as a maniacal competitor as Jordan and Kobe? And anybody that has watched basketball for the past 30-something years would already know that question. It is no way that LeBron is as competitive as Kobe or Jordan. Both of them went about it different ways, though. Kobe was consumed with being better than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was just consumed with being the best. But both of them, they were crazy competitors off and on the court. More so with Jordan than Kobe. Both of those guys, they stayed where they were. Even though Kobe did try to leave LA because he was getting tired of Shaq stuff, and he was getting tired of the team not putting a team together around him. The Lakers, he was tired of the Lakers not giving him the tools to be successful on the court. I remember when he first got Gasol, they had a camera on him in the tunnel, and he was like, "Now I got my tools," and he went to work. Jordan was a little bit different because he was getting players, but they weren't explosive type players. They were serviceable players. The best players that was ever picked in Jordan's era was Pippen and Grant. I'm trying to think of B.J. Armstrong come third. But after that, you can go through their draft, any draft that Jordan was on the roster for, and that was subpar. But they had people they could have got, but Chicago Bulls were going after specific players. You can just tell it. Still to this day. But Jordan didn't have it half as bad as Hakeem. Didn't have it half as bad as Ewing. Didn't have it half as bad as Philly with Barkley. All three of those players were victims, or they suffered. That's what I say. They suffered for their front office not thinking, how can I surround this guy with players instead of trying to get players on the cheap, or whatever the case. But Hakeem especially. New York tried. New York had a bunch of just situations happen that kept them from titles. It wasn't just the talent, because they had a little bit of talent too around Jordan's time, but it was just certain they couldn't get over Jordan. But I mean, like, sometimes it just didn't happen. But for Houston, they ought to be raked across the coals, even though that ownership been gone. Hakeem could have been up there as far as thought about it. But Jordan got what he was given, and he worked with it. But for LeBron always has to have something upgrade. He has to have an upgrade. That team in 2007. That team in 2000. Excuse me. That team in 2007 was good enough to give the San Antonio Spurs a run. They should have won at least one or two of those games. I don't think they were going to beat the Spurs if the series went to 7. But to get swept the way he did, and for him to go out the way he went, was just another example. I mean, in 2000, when he was playing with the Heat, he was the villain. He couldn't take it. So I'm just rambling about these players that weren't given much to work with as far as teammates. They were given some teammates, but like a lot of those players that we think of in the heyday of the NBA, like Barkley, Ewing, Olajuwon, Malone and Stockton. Malone and Stockton just couldn't cut it against Jordan and them. But the Utah Jazz was they were putting players around. They were putting players around Malone and Stockton. They just couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't get over the hump, the Jordan hump. But yeah, man, this conversation has gotten to the point for me where I'm just like, can we talk about something else? I mean, really, the conversation is done. It's been done for a while. But for whatever reason, I think I got a reason, idea why it had ended. But this conversation is meaningless now, because it's been proven over and over again. Just another example last night. If LeBron was really the greatest, he would have found some way to at least get a shot up. Did he get a shot up? I think he got a shot up, but it was, he got a shot up, but it wasn't nowhere near. But it's Grandpa, man.